Hi there and welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking a little bit more at negative keywords. Now we obviously looked at negative keywords previously in the match types video, but in this video I'm going to show you how to find them and where you need to add them in your campaign. So as you can see, we're here in the keyword planner tool again. If you're not already here, all you need to do from wherever you are in your account is just go up to the tools tab here, click that and select the keyword planner. Okay, so we're going to just click on search for new keywords, and all we need to do at this point now is search for one of our main keywords again. So to stick with our previous example, I'm going to pick locksmith. I'm targeting the whole of the United Kingdom, you'll notice. Everything else I'm going to leave the same, and I'm just going to click the Get Ideas button. Okay, and here we are, we're back in the keyword planner and we've got all the results that we've seen before. What I like to do at this point is change this to keyword ideas, and then I just like to click on the average monthly searches just to filter this by volume, so we want the highest volume to the top. Okay, so here we go. As you'll remember in one of the previous videos where we were creating ad groups, there was a few occasions where we added the ad group and then when we analysed the keywords, there were certain keywords that weren't relevant that we wanted to remove from the ad groups. So the difference here is in this section we are actually looking for these types of keywords. These are the types of keywords that we want to be adding over here into the ad group section. So I'm going to just look at the list. Locksmith London, that is definitely not relevant to us. We are not in London, so we can add that. Things like car key cutting. Now, not all locksmiths will provide this service, so if it's not relevant, definitely add it. And the same goes for similar keywords like car key replacing. If it's not a service that this particular locksmith offers, we would add it into the negative list. Training, we definitely don't offer training. We don't provide tools. Now what you will find is there's going to be a lot of locations in here, so generally what I like to do is add all these locations right at the start. If they're not locations that you're targeting, then you don't want Google to send you any traffic for these, and even if you are targeting by location, sometimes you will see that these types of keywords creep through into the campaign. So just to avoid this in any way, I generally add them right at the start. So we can carry on adding some of these. And I'm not going to go all the way through this and add every single negative keyword. It's purely to give you an idea of how to do it. So we'll just scroll down, try and find a few more. Lock picks. Now, that may sound like it might be a relevant keyword for this campaign, but I would imagine that's somebody actually looking for the tools, so I would add that as well. A really good indication is if you look at the bid price. Now what you'll find is there's a common range of prices. If the bid price seems like particularly low or quite different, there's a good chance that that keyword is not going to be relevant. So their car key, that is such a broad keyword. There's going to be a very slim chance that that's going to be relevant to my campaign. So I would add that as negative. Locksmith courses, as you'll see here, the cost per click is much lower. And that's just one way that you can sort of identify these keywords and see whether anybody else is bidding on them. Locksmith jobs. And basically what you want to do is just carry on in this fashion and just find as many negative keywords as you possibly can. As you can see, Google here is going to give you 801 examples. So this may take you quite a while to do, but it's definitely worth doing. I would also recommend trying different seed keywords up here. So once you've tried locksmith, maybe you could try auto locksmith. And what you'll find is you'll get a whole different list of keywords in many cases. So if you go through the list again, you're inevitably going to find keywords that are not relevant. So just carry on in this fashion and add them all over here to the side. Once we've completed our list of negative keywords, and I would expect you to have more than 11, but just to keep this video at a reasonable length, that's as far as I'm going to take this, you can just come down here to the little arrow button and download the plan. So again, I recommend downloading this to Excel. So we're just going to open this up. So here we go. Here are the keywords over here. So I'm just going to double click there to open that up so we can see them all. Now one thing I like to do at this point is trim the keywords down. And what I mean by that is I'm going to trim them down to 1 or 2 words. So for example, I'll trim that to London. I'm going to trim that to cutting because we don't do any type of cutting. Replacement, I might leave that because people might be looking for lock replacement. So I'd probably just take car off that and just leave that as key replacement. If I was going to leave it as car replacement, that's quite a bit longer, and as a broad keyword that might pull in a larger range of keywords. So I might consider adding something slightly longer like this as a phrase match negative. And what that will mean is that keyword would have to be in that order in somebody's search term for it to be disallowed in the campaign. Training, we don't want to have any kind of training keywords in there. Tools, again, we don't want any of them. Any of the locations, I just want them to be the location only. Lockpicks. This is one that I might consider having as a phrase match, just because if I put that in as a broad match, it could potentially pull relevant terms in. So I just generally go with my instinct on these ones, and I'll add that as a phrase match. Car key, I'm going to leave that as a broad match. Courses, leave that as broad, and jobs, I'm going to leave that as broad. Okay, so that's it. That's how we find our keywords. You want to go through some kind of a similar process to this in Excel just to tidy the list up. Some people will just add them as they pull them out of AdWords, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. This is just the way that I personally do it. At the start of a campaign, I want to find the big keywords that are going to cause the most damage in terms of irrelevance. And then I like to just add them in as a broad negative. Okay, so in the next video we're going to be looking at how to add these to your campaign. I hope you found this useful. One thing that I definitely advise is don't get lazy on this part, because potentially it can save you a lot of money. And let's assume you're spending £1,000 a month on advertising and 30% of the traffic is not relevant. That's wasting £300. This really can save you a lot of money right from the start of your campaign. It's not going to take you too long. I mean, you might have to spend half an hour going through the keywords tool, doing a few different search terms, to get all the keywords, but it's going to mean that your campaign starts really tightly focused on the type of keywords that you want. Adding negatives is something that you're going to have to continue doing over time, and we will be looking at that later on in the optimization videos. This is just about putting your best foot forward and starting off in the best possible position you can do. It's going to give you a much higher chance of being profitable early on, and it's going to just mean that you have to do less work when you're actually managing the campaign. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, hope you found it useful and you understand why this is so important, and I will see you in the next video.